Hello old school NBA fans, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to take a look at another all-time classic. We will feature the 1979 NBA All-Star Game. Back in the days when the NBA was competitive. True NBA superstars battling from bragging rights. Let's take a quick look at the rosters. So let's sit back and enjoy this classic. At the end of the video, we got information for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us now meet the Western Conference All-Stars. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the NBA from the Phoenix Suns, 6'6" Walter Davis. A power man also up front from the Portland Trailblazers, 6'9", Maurice Lucas. From the Seattle Supersonics in his first NBA All-Star game, 6'4" guard Dennis Johnson. Dennis's teammate, forward center from Seattle, 6'11", Jack Sigma. An all-star who has never missed a game in his collegiate and pro career from the Chicago Bulls, 7'2", Artis Gilmore. Also in his first all-star game, a second-year pro from the Kansas City Kings, 6'4", Otis Birdsong. And here are the West starters from the Milwaukee Bucks in his first NBA All-Star game, 6'7", Marcus Johnson. Teaming with Marcus up front in his third NBA All-Star game for the Denver Nuggets, George McGinnis. And making his ninth All-Star appearance for the Los Angeles Lakers, 7'2", Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Skywalker from the Denver Nuggets, his third NBA Star game, 6'4", David Thompson. The other starting guard from the Phoenix Suns, his third star game, 6'4", Paul Westphal. The trainer for the Western Conference All-Stars, Bill Jones of Kansas City. The assistant coach from the Seattle Supersonics, Les Habegger. And the head coach, a man who in 1971 was the most valuable player in this All-Star game, from the Seattle Supersonics, Lenny Wilkins. Now the Eastern Conference stars. The big man who has been the heart and soul of the Detroit Pistons for so long. 7 times an NBA All-Star, Bob Lanier. Here's a man who has never missed an All-Star game in his 11-year NBA career from the Washington Bullets, the Big E, Elvin Hayes. Elvin's teammate in his fourth All-Star game, also the Washington Bullets, here's Bobby Dandridge. Here is an All-Star who has come home. He played his high school ball less than 2 miles away at Pontiac Central for the Cleveland Cavaliers, 6'8", Campy Russell. In his second NBA All-Star game from the San Antonio Spurs, 6'9", Larry Keenan. And here is the most amazing little man to ever play this game. The smallest man ever to make an NBA All-Star squad. We've overlooked him too long. From the Houston Rockets, Calvin Murphy. The starters for the Eastern Conference. In his third game for the Philadelphia 76ers, the Dr. Julius Erving. Another player who has come home from the Houston Rockets, his 5th NBA All-Star game, Rudy Tomjanovich. The starting center, only 23 and still growing, 6'10" from Houston, Moses Malone. And here's the man who received the most votes from the fans in this All-Star balloting. From Detroit and now San Antonio, George Gervin. The other starting guard for the Eastern Conference in his 5th NBA All-Star game for the New Orleans Jazz, Pistol Pete Maravich. The trainer is from Detroit, Mike Abdenauer for the Eastern Conference. Now, the coaching staff for the East, the assistant coach of the Washington Bullets, Bernie Bickerstaff. And the head coach, the man who last year guided the Washington Bullets to the World Championship, Dick Motta. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, also from Detroit, the Four Tops.
And you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous sky. For the land that we lost were still gathered we screaming, and the rocket came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You were surprised that both teams are taking it this seriously. Is it usually an exhibition feeling in the locker rooms?
Well, I think that last year, in the final one that I played, it was one where everyone was really concerned about the game and involved in the game. But today, it was a different feeling. They were very tense and serious about it.
You saw the referees across the floor, the senior man, of course, of Madden. They're on the right. 3 officials this year in the NBA, and as we see number 45 of the Eastern Conference Stars, Rudy Tomjanovich, you will see that he will be wearing a face mask to protect a broken nose. Three players, John, who have come home, grew up in this area, 20 miles apart. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Moses Malone will jump it up. Kareem has played extremely well against Moses and Houston. In competition between the Rockets and the Lakers, George Gervin will take the first shot.
George Gervin is not going to have the problem he had in past All-Star games. He's home. He's looking at the hoop. He's going to get off to a gunning start.
Westfall with the left hand. He'll shoot it up with either hand. The East on the board and the first turnover. And generally speaking, we have a lot of turnovers early in this game because the players are not accustomed to working with one another. They're not familiar with their cuts. David Thompson now of Denver brings it up. His teammate George McGinnis goes to Westfall. Westfall slides around the screen. Picked up by Malone and out to Kareem. Cross-court McGinnis. Tomjanovich. And the East comes across with Pete Maravich in that heavy knee brace, which has burdened him this year. Coming back from surgery, the doctor. Thompson in the middle. Dishes to Marcus Johnson of Milwaukee. On the miss. Out of bounds, it'll go over to the east. George Gervin.
One of the things that the players are concerned with out here, they have so much respect for each other that sometimes they overpass.
Out of bounds. Kareem had touched on the end line there, so the East will keep possession. And I was just reminded that the last time Thompson played in this city, he lit it up with 73 points. That was down at Cobo.
He set those nets on fire down there at Cobo. Of course, he's been playing great basketball lately, so we might see another good shooting performance from him.
The pistol. Way off. And on the air ball, rebounded by Malone, and Irving had it knocked away as he drove to the glass.
That ball that time was knocked out of Irving's hand. Jabbar knocked out of bounds. He's looking for some help from the official. They don't give it to him, and the West brings the ball up.
Thompson to Westfall on the left, and here's McGinnis. They front Kareem with Rudy T, and now Rudy follows George. Here's Thompson.
David Thompson.
Strong Texas flavor to this Eastern team as Maravich of New Orleans makes it 1 of 2 for him. Abdul-Jabbar checks in as he holds off Moses. Rudy T made the defensive play, but the West keeps possession, and
Johnson from
The amazing thing about both these basketball teams is early they're running a lot of set stuff. They seem to be setting up more than they're trying to run. Normally in all-star games, you get the breaking opportunities.
And here we have a break right now with George McGinnis on the steal.
Maravich brings it up for the East. Turnovers now, 3 against the East and none against the West. Maravich. Westfall spins inside. Now the East comes up. Tricky move off to Gervin. Marcus Johnson's outlet. Westfall is all alone. He'll have the easy layup at the other end. So it's 8-6 Westfall for the East.
That time the East, they were caught in a situation where they didn't have any floor balance. A good play by Marcus Johnson, looking up immediately upon receiving the rebound.
So the East will have the ball out of bounds. They trail here by a field goal. First period. 29th annual NBA All-Star Game. The foul call as Julius Irving put up the shot.
Irving finally getting that basketball down in deep. He said last night he's got his eyes on being the MVP also. He's not gotten off to a good start in past All-Star games. Struggled the first time in Milwaukee. He had a great game. A lot of spectacular stuff. Today we may see some of the same.
And here he is, the doctor from Philadelphia, the man who's been carrying the 76ers for the last month. He, of course, now is all alone on that team with McGinnis out in Denver. They've added Bobby Jones up front. Doug Collins, of course, would be here today, but he is injured. So Irving hits the free throw. We're 8-7. We're 8:34 to go first period. Thompson now brings it down for the West. They're in the dark road uniforms. As Westfall gets free on a beautiful move, came to the glass, goaltending the call, scored.
Goaltending violation.
Real good move by Paul Westfall that time.
George McGinnis.
Here he goes on a backdoor cut. George Gervin in there to goaltend the call. Good play, playing without the ball.
At the other end, it was over the net by Maravich, and Moses Malone came up with the field goal. So the pistol and Malone go to work right here. You'll see it again.
Oh, you see Pete come in, a little razzmatazz. He brings it right behind his head, and Malone, always active inside, takes it right up, puts a cap on it, gets fouled, doesn't get the three-point play.
Now Westfall comes up. Here's the doctor. Gets through one man to the left hand. Kareem to Westfall, and here's Thompson.
David Thompson from Westfall.
The West has so many guys back on that they just really don't know what to do. Thompson has Marcus Johnson ahead. He pulls it right on the top.
McGinnis, the man in the middle, was tripped up as he came across. Julius accidentally took it in. Helps George up.
That's his
First personal against Julius, and the first team foul on the East.
Again, the East is not having the floor balance that they need, and the West has taken advantage of it 2 or 3 times today.
So the Eastern Conference Stars come up led by Maravich. Tomjanovich hits the pistol, top of the circle. It's a 1-point West lead as they come down.
Well, John, that leg doesn't look too bad to me. Maravich, he might have a good shot at MVP also.
I talked to him before the game, and he says it's weak, and he wants to get rid of that brace at the end of the season, but he has to wear it this year.
Gervin goes to the left, and Irving lost control of the ball on the turnover. And Westfall from behind the back to the attack. The whistle had sounded a chance for the three-pointer as he threw the foul. Oh, Westfall has stood out in each of the last 2 All-Star games.
Player, and it's cold outside, and he's beginning to heat it up in here. You'll see he comes right in. The lane opens up right there. He just takes it to the hoop, doing what he does best.
Speaking of heating up, that roar was for that man, number 16, Bob Lanier. He's in his 7th NBA All-Star game, and he was added to the team by Commissioner Larry O'Brien because of the injury suffered by Doug Collins.
We have his injury right there. He's got some problems with his eye. He may not get rolling yet.
We also have Calvin Murphy in the game at this point, and I know that Calvin is excited to play in this one, so let's give him a look early.
6 points for Westfall already. 15-11 on the strength of that free throw. Maravich with 6, leading the East. And here's the little man, Calvin. Calvin with the rebound. East touched it last. It'll go now to the West. And we've got our first timeout here in Pontiac. So the largest crowd to ever see an NBA All-Star game is on hand here at the Silver Dome. It's in excess of 30,000. We'll be right back with the West leading 15-11. Saw Gene Shue last night, speaking of that city, and they're doing fine, aren't they? They pulled ahead of Portland out there in the Pacific. Kareem with his first hook shot.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from David Thompson.
So far, Westfall and Maravich have been the hot shooters in this game. The East and White. Here's Calvin Murphy to Lanier. George Gervin still there. Rudy Tomjanovich and the Doctor. Quick pass to Calvin. Gets open.
Well, the amazing thing, John, about the both teams is the fact that they worked the play so well early in the ball game.
That time he set up very nicely behind the pick and took that open jumper.
Dennis Johnson of the Supersonics on the floor as Marcus Johnson missed that shot. Scooped up by Thompson to the glass.
Basket is good by
And about
Thompson.
the counts, and he was fouled. So here will come David.
Ball at number 16, Bob Lanier.
Well, it's tough when you got a matchup as big as Bob Lanier. You try and get that thing set right there. David Thompson comes right over the top. Lanier is in there too late. Thompson gets a chance at a couple of free throws.
Bob Lanier acting a little bit on that, too.
6 points for Thompson. Murphy to Gervin. Slides the baseline. The Doctor wants to crash inside. The slam by Kareem. This is the Doctor's kind of showcase. Not too many plays. Let's just go wide open. Like
Well, when he can get in a one-on-one situation, wide open spread floor, he can really put on a spectacular show. The problem so far today, he has not taken the ball with him. He's gone in the air, but no ball.
Maurice Lucas of the Trailblazers checking in for the West.
So many times in a game like this, the players really try to get to the basket a little too often. They pass up the outside shots, and I think if they start hitting a few of those, it'll open it up for Julius and people with that ability to give a good one-on-one show.
And Walter Davis, last year's Rookie of the Year from Phoenix, now on the floor for the West. Dick Motta and Lenny Wilkins go to their benches, and what benches they are. Thompson comes out. Dennis Johnson. Lucas has gone to the floor. Now he's back up. Kareem inside to Thompson, and he is stuffed with foul. Elvin Hayes and Julius Irving.
Number 6, Julius Irving. That's his second, the team's fourth.
Well, this is the only midget that hangs around underneath the basket right here. Thompson on pogo sticks right there. He tries to take it up over Irving and Elvin Hayes. He gets it batted back, but he also gets the free throws.
Underneath, the West is not scoring. McGinnis with a couple, Marcus with a couple, and Jabbar with a couple. So only 3 field goals out of that talented front line right now. The East doing very well inside on defense as they did that time. Lanier forcing the ball back outside.
Jeff, there's so many offensive stars in the game that when you get in a situation like this, you'll find that they also really start to play defense.
David
They don't want to be
Thompson.
embarrassed at the other end.
It's 22-15 as the West opens it up. Murphy goes diving to the ball, and as he lost it, he was tied up by Dennis Johnson.
Now, Murphy's still got a little excitement in him. He's still so happy to be here. He's not gotten himself under control. He's flying all over the court. He's got the one basket, but he's not really been able to get himself under control. We'll see what happens. He's going to get the skyjack here and Dennis Johnson.
Speaking of skyjacks, here's the big man from Chicago. Artis Gilmore checks in, and Kareem will take a break. Won by Dennis, who tapped it off to Gilmore. So the West will come down now with Dennis Johnson, David Thompson, Artis Gilmore, Davis, and Lucas, who just had the ball knocked away by the Big E, Elvin Hayes. Hayes has never missed one of these All-Star games in his career. Houston, Washington, San Diego. Davis spins in and out. Goes back now to pick up on defense. Here's Murphy. The doctor.
The East would be best at trying to run, get down in a spread floor situation. The West seems to be much better at setting up and getting the outside
Lucas.
the ball.
Hayes comes back down on Maurice, who just scored on him. So Lucas and Hayes trade field goals. Lucas has it knocked away. Gilmore with a hand on it. Lucas. Knocked free again. Calvin Murphy down the foot race. It's 3-on-2 under his legs. The doctor not ready for it.
Calvin got a little excited that time and ended up making a bad pass, but I'm sure that he wants to make up for that one somewhere along the line.
Doctor is just saying to Calvin right now, he's saying, Calvin, Henry Bibby didn't hit me with one of those last week. I wasn't ready for it.
You see Calvin has the ball right in the middle, and they got an excellent break. He sees Julius Irving on the wing, but he doesn't give it up to him.
You're responsible for that. He's going to throw the board. If you make you hit the board. That was Dick Motta talking to Calvin Murphy about hitting the board.
Jack Sigma replaces Artis Gilmore in the West lineup.
Artis Gilmore has come out of the game because he gets hit right here. He got a finger in the eye. He's going to be looked at. They're over at the bench right now attending to him.
So Jack Sigma of Seattle will work against Lanier in the pivot. Bill Jones over there attending to Artis. Doctor alongside him. Lucas gets Hayes up in the air and drew the foul. There's
Off number 11, Elvin Hayes. That's his first.
Is that a bloody nose, I believe? Yes, it is.
Maurice Lucas at the line, 3 to make 2.
Team fouls. The East now over the limit with 5. The West with 3.
Brent, the West should have really come out in business suits. I mean, they have been very businesslike about this game all evening, last night, today. Ever since they've been selected here, they've been very businesslike about their approach.
Bobby Dandridge out there with Bob Lanier, Julius Irving, Elvin Hayes, and Calvin Murphy for the East. It's a 5-point lead by the West. Great pass by Davis to Dennis Johnson. Knocked free. Murphy to the attack. Here's the doctor.
Calvin got it back that time. A beautiful 3-on-2 fast break. He hit Julius with a pass he could handle.
Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson.
Again, you see Murphy in the middle and Irving on the wing. This time they capitalize. He gets it down.
And there's his drives on second and then missed the left-handed shot. Thompson travels. Otis Birdsong of Kansas City reports in for Lenny Wilkins and the West. And the West elects to call a timeout right now for turnovers. 7 against the East and only 3 against the West. And that's been a difference. It shows on the scoreboard with the West up by 5.
This man played in 12 All-Star games, most valuable player 3 times. Oscar Robertson, a big O. You must really get up for this game.
Oh, it's a great classic. When I played, I enjoyed it. Basketball was my life then.
How about now? What you doing?
I'm in a construction business, but I'm here doing a job for the Pepsi Hot Shots.
This is the closest I ever got to you since I guarded you.
No, you got closer than that a few times, Rod. Believe me.
All right, Oscar, let's go back to Bryn the boys. More basketball.
Oscar was fouled on every shot, and Hot Rod knows it, and so do the officials. Oscar looks great. He's put on a little bit of weight, likes to play some tennis. He's got a daughter who's 5'10", becoming a marvelous athlete herself. All right, back here in the white right now, Eastern Conference All-Stars. Julius outside. Off iron down off Elvin Hayes' hands. Hold on, says Matt. We got a loose ball foul underneath.
Elvin Hayes got real good inside position that time. Maurice Lucas tried to take it away from him, getting called for the foul.
He wanted to know how he could jump with all that weight on his back.
It's a 5-point Western Conference lead right now. The East with possession. Pete Maravich going to check in soon. Hayes up high with the bounce, but didn't go down. Sickman's off. Davis to the attack. He's lightning quick, and he can come through, I'll tell you. Fine offensive forward and moves so well without the ball. There he is, popping out to get it now. Looking for an open man. Here's Birdsong. Goes back to Walter Davis. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Lydia.
2 minutes. 2 minutes left.
Calvin Murphy down the right side. Slides inside. Throws up. Elvin Hayes missed it on the out. Walter Davis off to Birdsong, who is hustling on the left, and Dennis Johnson taps it in.
That's what that will do for you. Walter Davis just flew past Bobby Danvers and got it down, got him a quick opportunity, and they followed up.
On the turnover, it's Birdsong. Lucas slows to regain control. Hits Davis. Neither team shooting particularly well here the last couple of minutes. Dandridge.
Right, I thought they might have told Murphy to release and come back. What's he doing underneath the board?
Minute 10 left in the first period here at the Silver Dome. Lucas gets Hayes up in the air again, and Elvin looked a bit lost there, and so Lucas threw up the shot. Davis.
Walter Davis.
Dennis Johnson going with the doctor and a little too closely fouled him.
One of the things in playing against Julius Erving so many times, you never wanted to give him that baseline, because once he gets toward the hoop in that position, he's almost impossible to stop. You try and get him into a situation where you can get some help, because he can't be guarded one-on-one.
Embarrass you one-on-one.
Here's the penalty coming up. 32-26. And the doctor with that last free throw. There's the pistol back. Sickma's the man down in the hole. Artis Gilmore's bloody nose not serious. I'm sure he'll be back. Sickma plays facing the basket very well.
That's where he plays best, when he can look at the hoop and get that little jump shot off. Does an excellent job of keeping opposition off balance because he puts the ball behind his head.
One of the reasons he's so effective in doing that, he keeps his shoulder square to the basket, which gives him a good chance to shoot the ball directly at it rather than at an angle.
Maravich bringing down the clock, and he gives it up on the turnover. Here's Birdsong. Inside.
Otis Birdsong.
Last second, that'll end the first period. So Otis Birdsong takes advantage of the turnover by Maravich at the end of the first period. 36-27. The West has opened up a lead. As you see Otis go to the hole. We are ready to start the second period of this, the 29th annual NBA All-Star Game from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, the vast stadium where the Detroit Lions play their NFL competition. And I am sure one of the many attractions that is bringing more and more conventions into this area. For example, in 1980, the Republicans will hold their National Convention here in this city. Dennis Johnson throws it back to Maurice Lucas. The Western Conference All-Stars are in the blue jerseys, the East in the white. And it's Bobby Dandridge bringing it up now for Washington Bullets. This is his fourth NBA All-Star game. He was a fourth-round draft choice. Campy Russell in for the first time. Hayes fouled as he threw up the shot. Maurice Lucas.
East has a very tall team, and Campy Russell's playing in the backcourt along with Maravich. That gives them Lanier, Hayes, and Bobby Dandridge up front. They got a lot of height, pretty good quickness and mobility. Again, they've had more success trying to run than setting up.
So here's the man who earlier this year became the 10th player in NBA history to surpass 20,000 regular season points. He led this league in scoring as a rookie when he played for the San Diego Rockets. Played 4 years for the Rockets. The last one, of course, being in Houston before being traded to the Bullets for Jack Merritt. And last year, he finally got his wish, an NBA championship. The West coming down now. Second-year pro also out of Houston, Otis Birdsong, now with Kansas City, teaming with Phil Ford. Dennis Johnson to Artis Gilmore. Big fella from Chicago is back after sustaining that bloody nose. Birdsong tightened up by Lanier, who come out on defense. Back into the corner now, Dennis Johnson outside. And Otis Birdsong with an offensive rebound. Good fake by Maurice. Moves inside for the field goal.
Maurice Lucas.
38-29. The West now with 11 minutes to go here in the first half. Lanier will take it up outside. He's an outstanding shooter for a big man. 6'11". Now it's Walter Davis from North Carolina trying to find daylight on the baseline, and he was blocked off there by Dandridge.
Foul on number 10, Bob Dandridge. That's his first, the team's first.
Walter Davis trying to use that quickness, and he gets by Bobby Dandridge to get that block call. Otis Birdsong has the ball out in front.
Quick pass to Dennis Johnson, and goaltending scores. Lanier was up. That's a fine pass by Davis. That's his second good pass.
Well, they've run great offensive set stuff. I mean, it's amazing. They've only been in here a day and been together, and they've run these patterns like they've been together for 3 or 4 months.
Campy Russell played his high school basketball less than 2 miles away. Pass back by Maravich, and here's Lanier again. 2 quick field goals by Big Bob.
Great play by Maravich. He's one of the people in the league that probably sees the floor as well as anyone, picking out Bob Lanier being wide open.
Foul called by Bannock.
Number 11, Elvin Hayes.
Here we have Pete going toward the hoop, and he can see he's picked up by Gilmore. He knows that Bob Lanier is open. With a good fake, he goes into the hoop. 2 points.
That's a sweet wraparound pass right there. Not many guys can make that pass.
Foul was on Hayes and Larry Keenan. San Antonio Spurs, number 35. He was not a bit at all bashful down in Atlanta last year. He threw a shot up for every minute he was on the floor. Walter Davis looking smooth, hitting the passes, and now he's starting to warm it up as a shooter, too. Keenan gives it off to Maravich. Maravich with a brace on his right knee. Comes free, he's turned it over again. Maravich having trouble handling the ball. Westball wants the foul. And Hayes wisely lets him have the field goal. Back quickly now to Campy Russell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Keenan's on his right side. Campy will take it outside himself. Run down by Artis Gilmore, who gives it up. And here's the man doing it all for the West right now, Walter Davis of Phoenix. Pull-up jump shot. Artis Gilmore with an offensive rebound. Cannot stop Artis right there. Just score it when he gets the ball in that spot. 46-33. The West has opened up some daylight now in this game. Keenan. Down comes the West again. Westball goes back to McGinnis and Big George. In great block by Hayes, who awaited and anticipated McGinnis perfectly.
The West has just done a better job of limiting the East to just one shot. They've come down to three land, put the ball up from the outside, and once they got the ball off the board, got breaking opportunities, got it down. When they had to set up, they set up, and they scored. They got a 13-point lead.
Marcus Johnson of Milwaukee is sent back in by Lenny Wilkins. Hayes was also taken out for the East. Birdsong. Birdsong so much more effective for Cotton Fitzsimmons this year now that he's able to be the shooting guard. And Phil Ford, of course, running the Kings attack. Maravich to the glass.
That's a pretty play when you're that far away from the basket and they're only taking one dribble to go that distance. You know that he's doing it real well.
Gervin with a great block here on Westfall. Went to the left hand.
Back to Pete on this one-on-one move. One dribble from 18 feet away into the hoop. Good body control for the layup.
Birdsong again.
Otis Birdsong from Westfall.
Now on the floor for the East, we've got Gervin and Maravich. Keenan handling the ball. Cappy Russell. And we've also got Moses Malone back on the floor. Russell. High off the glass. Good shot.
He worked on that shot all day yesterday with Calvin Murphy. He lost all the horse games, but he's warmed up today.
It's a very difficult shot to block. He takes it back over his head, and it's tough to get to.
West retains it, and I think you can hear Bannock yelling that we've got a timeout out here. Thompson returns, and Birdsong out. And here's George Gervin, who won the NBA scoring title, responding to Thompson's 73-point production that final Sunday with 63 points.
Not a bad day. The only reason he couldn't get 70, he just got tired.
6'7" guard. Gervin goes down on defense, matched against David Thompson. Westfall hit in the face by Calvin Murphy. It was accidental, and Calvin knew it right away. So we're going to have a timeout called by Dick Moore. And the Eastern Conference All-Stars, the West, in their dark blue, leads it 54-43. 6 minutes and 59 seconds to go right now in the first half.
Commissioner Larry O'Brien of the NBA. And understand, Larry, that there's going to be expansion in the future for the NBA.
Yes, there's been a lot of interest expressed around the country from a number of cities, Hot Rod. And we're going to be taking a look at these applications of these cities. We'll go to no more than 2-team expansion by no later than 80-81 season.
I want to thank you for that seat you gave me.
No, I saw you up there. Didn't you just notice I was calling you? You're going to have my seat right after this interview, Howard. I'll go back up there because you're entitled. You've been in this game before.
Thank you. We'll be talking to you after the game with the Most Valuable Player Award. Now back to Brent and the guys.
Why didn't the commissioner ask him if he ever passed the ball in this game? That's what I want to know.
Ever in life.
In one game, I think he shot 15 times in 14 minutes.
Is that right? Here's Paul Westfall. He got a leg up now if you want to think about the MVP award in this competition. He's been pursuing it for each of the last couple of years. Here's Calvin, 23.
He's always got that leg up, but never gotten it down.
Here he is right now. Gives it up to Thompson on the right wing, and David comes in on a move. Yanked the ball free at the last second, and it's showtime for the Western Conference. 56 points already, and the frustrated East trying to dig in.
Oh, it's Calvin Murphy coming back at you. He just feels like they're doing a little too much. Watch Thompson, a little show and tell way up in the air and just glides in. Nice when you can jump that high.
Gilmore looking for an open man. Shot clock inside of 10. George McGinnis. So that's 58 points with still 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half in this All-Star game. And if you like shooting, you're going to love the rest of this one. Here they come again. Westfall. Again, Westfall trying to draw the foul as he came to the glass, and he almost lost control that time.
Well, the West has just had great defense, taking advantage of all the loose balls and turnovers, and great offense at their end.
13 points, Steve, for Westfall already in this competition. The East has turned it over. They are completely frustrated right now.
They're giving up a lot of cheap baskets. That must be about the 5th fast break. No, one person just going to the hoop with no defender back. They have to get much better floor balance to get back into the game.
Hot Rod Hundley has found his next guest. All right, David Thompson now, bringing it up. Here they come. They have been awesome so far. The Western Conference All-Stars in blue. Big George of Denver. Westfall inside to the Gilmore. rolls in that
Hardest
shot.
field
They're
goal.
unstoppable right now. Gervin picked up by Thompson. Calvin Murphy lets the Doctor have it inside. Doctor dishing it off, went out of bounds, and the East will keep possession as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar checks in. And I believe Bob Lanier will soon be in also. Yes, here he is from the Eastern Conference Stars. You can see him there in the background.
The thing that the East must do now is just put the ball in the air. They have tried to make the big spectacular passes. In some cases they've been successful, but they haven't gotten the ball in the air enough to really get a chance to score.
Doctor quickly hits one. They've scored 47. The West up with 62 and 5 minutes to go in the first half. Tom Janovich will soon check back in for Dick Motta too. Thompson and Westfall in the backcourt. McGinnis, Kareem, and Marcus Johnson back. Give and go to McGinnis, went to the left hand. Tapped it back in on the other side.
George McGinnis had the flu yesterday, and he certainly doesn't show it today.
Worked on his offensive rebounding that time. Got a great pass from Jabbar inside.
Happy Russell to Lanier. They're giving it up, and they lose it on the turnover to go to West.
Well, he begged for this one. Please let me have it. You'll see the cutter comes in. McGinnis makes a great move right there to get himself righted and up at the hoop. He can't get it down the first time, but second time he does.
McGinnis has fouled out of 14 games with Denver this season, and that team is 1-13 in those 14 games. Demonstrates his value as he puts it down, and he was fouled that time. So George McGinnis, formerly of Indiana, and then with the Philadelphia 76ers, he has scored 386 points from the foul line. So that ranks him second this year in the NBA, and here's the big horse.
George McGinnis.
Been to the free throw line more than anyone else in the NBA this year. He's averaging about 11 free throws a game.
The thing is, most of the time he's against a person who's much slower, and he takes advantage of his quickness. He's 6'8", but he plays like a guy who's 6'3" or 4.
Demonstrating that one-handed form. That is 66 points for the Western Conference All-Stars with 4:20 to go. George Gervin rolling one up and in, and you can hear the whistle. There was also a foul on it. So magnificent George Gervin, who certainly is one hot hand who could help bring the Eastern Conference back into this game if he can erupt that high arching shot. 6'7" guard.
The way they'll be successful in getting back in this game is to try to get the ball off the board and run. If they can play some pretty good defense that they're in, they'll get a chance to get some breaks and get some hoops.
And the men who are on top and very much in command go to work again. McGinnis giving it up. Westball gets position on Murphy. McGinnis again, missing this time underneath. Marcus Johnson coming back up, and there was a foul underneath.
Foul on number 16, Bob Lanier.
Well, John, we know why these guys came to play right here.
That's right. The winner's going to get $1,000. The loser's going to get $650. And believe me, the West is going at it right now. This may be the best two-way player in the game, Marcus Johnson. I think that in his second year, he's developed the outside shot that has really opened up his game. It's no telling what he's going to do. He plays both ends of the floor as well as anyone.
They're playing like pool boys.
Hey NBA fans, for more vintage NBA content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. NBA at its best. Thank you.
Jack Sickman, number 43, has returned for the West. Coach Lenny Wilkins. You would think with the coaching matchups that the two men who guided teams to the championship last year would get the nod. Not so. Dick Motta and Lenny Wilkins had the best records in their respective conferences in mid-January. On the turnover and steal, it's Thompson.
We have an interesting situation here. Dick Motta has gone to Julius Erving and George Gervin in the backcourt, thinking that they may be able to post some of the smaller guards on the opposite end of the floor.
If they can keep the ball at this end of the court, they may have a shot at it.
And it finally goes down. Here is that play again on the stuff. David Skywalker just soaring to the glass for the Western Conference. They have scored 70 points now in the first half. Abdul-Jabbar turns around at the baseline. Marcus Johnson gives the West a second chance. Bob Lanier Gervin in the middle. Blake Swanson comes up and in.
That's what they have to do. They have to put the ball in the air. They have to get down quickly and set up. They're not too good at running their patterns in their set offense, so if they can get down and get the quick shot, they got a chance.
Gervin now with 9 points, 7 here in the second period. He has warmed up.
Okay, for Westball.
Johnson turns around on Rudy T. Lanier with a hand run down by Sigma, who gets it off as he goes to the floor, and it's Thompson inside. Slam back down by Marcus.
Marcus Johnson.
Marcus Johnson displaying his jumping ability.
72 points for the Western Conference with 2:20 to go here in the first half.
Again, you'll see they're playing like they're very hungry. The ball goes off the glass. Johnson inside, no box. A good play.
And Gervin single-handedly keeping the Eastern Conference in this now. 11 points. Kareem rolls in that sky. All 4 points.
They got 74 points. They all want some of it. He's begging for the ball down and deep. That's his favorite spot right there. No problem.
Irving on the miss. Abdul-Jabbar has it taken away as he put it behind his back. The doctor was still there and he picked him clean. Off with the shot, Lanier.
That's what the East has to do. They have to get more than one shot at the basket. That time Lanier was able to put in the layup.
Whistle as Thompson began the drive. And the Western Conference All-Stars have called a timeout. So the East will go to Dick Motta. The West, meanwhile, will go over and huddle around Lenny Wilkins. 1:28 to go, and they've scored 74 points already. A minute 28 to go. Paul Westphal and the Western Conference All-Stars have scored 74 points. The record for one half was set by the West back in 1962, 86. Now give them 75. They've got an outside shot at it. So far in this period, the West has hit 17 of 30, 57%. The East has shot better than they did in the opening period, 12 of 21, also 57%. And it's this man, George Gervin, who has shot the best for Dick Motta in this period. Partially deflected out of bounds. It was off Kareem's hand. It'll go to the East. Elvin Hayes will take the ball out of bounds. So with so much firepower, if they relax, as Westphal indicated they did last year in Atlanta, the East could jump right back in this. Here's Tom Janovich. Looks like a hospital ward out there with knee braces, nose guards. Lanier rolled up a miss, taken down by Abdul-Jabbar. David Thompson off to his left, and here's Dennis Johnson from the left corner now. They're 77 inside of a minute. They're not going to make it.
Well, they're not spectacular, but they're awfully businesslike.
So next we'll have a report from 24 Hours of Daytona. Ken Squire down there covering for CBS. Gervin runs it down. Tom Janovich is off. West comes down on the tack. Here's Marcus Johnson giving it back to David Thompson. Dennis Johnson. Here's Abdul-Jabbar. 5-on-5. Marcus gives it back. So the two UCLA stars working together, and Kareem with a chance for a three-point play. And hey, there's a grand old man of the NBA, Eddie Gottlieb. I bet he's seen every All-Star game.
He's seen every one of those, and he might have seen the start of that pick and roll. Whoever invented it, he might have been right next to them.
I think he invented this game.
I'll tell you, he puts together the schedule every year, and they've tried to do it with a computer, but Eddie Gottlieb is the man who comes up with the right answers every year.
So here is Abdul-Jabbar at the free throw line. He's got the Los Angeles Lakers poised for a run at the championship in the last 19 seconds here in the first half. But at halftime, besides Daytona, we've got Pepsi Hot Shot competition. We'll check in on the Crosby Clam Bay Golf Tournament and the Trident Award to the player who received the most votes, George Gervin. Put back up by Tom Janovich, still not there. Sigma off of the outlet, and the first half has come to an end. The shootout from the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. 80 points for the West. They lead the East right now, 80-58. We'll go to Daytona. Hot shot. Steve Jones, you and John Havlicek, come on in here now and fill us in on these stats.
Well, you look at those stats, John, and the big difference you can see again is that one team has been able to play better defense, which has been the West, been able to execute better. What do you think the East is going to have to do to get back in it?
Well, the East really has to start playing a little better defense. Their shot selection was not as good, and the reason the West is out the way they are, they have 14 assists as compared to 7 or 9, I believe, by the East. So they have good ball movement. The East is going to have to be more patient with the selection of their shots and play better defense. Well, the Players Association is trying to get the roster back up to 12 men. They were a little too early.
There's 30 more seconds. So the unknown basketball player is left, and the East will have to do it. With Gervin, Maravich, Irving, Hayes, and Lanier on the floor right now. Starting it off for the West, who were torrid in that second period. Abdul-Jabbar, Paul Westphal, David Thompson, Marcus Johnson, and George McGinnis. Westphal hit 6 of 10, and Thompson 6 of 8. They were the two scoring leaders for the Western Conference. 80-58, West in the blue. McGinnis using Kareem as the screen, and Irving Skies to the board. Here's the pistol now. Remember, 3 turnovers. You give it up now to George Gervin. Jump pass inside. Julius to the offhand. 2 men in blue, and Kareem controls from McGinnis. Here's now Marcus Johnson on the left. He's smooth, gliding to the glass. There was a whistle as he came in on Gervin. Foul against George. So if you're wondering when was the last time we had 150 points scored by a winning team, well, Steve Jones got out the record book and found it was back in 1962. And Wilt Chamberlain threw in 52 for the losers. It was the West 150, the East 130. And congratulations to the big guy out in L.A., who I'm sure is watching. He watches everything on the tube in that multi-million-dollar home of his. He has been named to basketball's Hall of Fame.
There was no question about that. A great player who's done a great deal for basketball.
Just a matter of time. Good, John. He's out there playing volleyball and everything. All right, here's the pistol now to the left. Takes it back from Irving. Westphal checking over his left shoulder for that screen. It's there, but the pass is inside underneath. And the tap in goes down. So quickly, the East gets a couple of field goals, and Kareem is loose.
Good heads-up play by Westphal. He saw Kareem sprinting down the floor, beating Lanier. Good fundamental play.
And Kareem's not out his goggles on, though. He's taking them off.
I believe that is the first time I have seen Kareem without his goggles since Westphal almost stole it. Maravich got it back. And I wonder, Steve, if maybe they're not broken and he doesn't have another pair. Here's Lanier, blocked by Abdul-Jabbar. Gervin throws it up. Julius Irving. At halftime.
Dick Motter told him, like an old coach told me, let's cloud up and rain all over them. And that's what the East is doing.
That's some old coach you have. I understand that coach. This pass goes inside. There's the foul. Boy, it's strange seeing Kareem stay without those goggles as you watch him in underneath. And the Big E, shades of that duel down in the Astrodome. That was the first time that Kareem was ever injured as you watch Irving go back over the head with his stuff. Elvin Hayes accidentally got a finger in Kareem's eye. That was back in college days. And, of course, later he went to the goggles just to protect himself. Marcus Johnson. Here's Gervin. He's down. Put a streak together. The Doctor. Take it back down by McGinnis now to the West. It's 3-on-1. Here's Westphal going back to Marcus Johnson. Blocked by Lanier on defense. Go down in the heat. We're going to have a jump ball. The applause for hustling Lanier.
Well, you see that control is so important in basketball. The East had an opportunity to get a break. Julius Irving a little bit out of control, forced up a shot, didn't get it. They came back down. Marcus Johnson having a real tough time getting the ball down. He gets it up, but he gets tied up by Bob Lanier.
John, where did Hot Rod Hundley go? Is he over there in that chicken costume here this half? That rod's not going to show up in anything. Never know where the rod's going to be. Started out in the upper balcony here today. Westphal going back to Kareem, who was alone. Ricochets off Maravich, misses it. Hayes control now for the East. 82-64.
The goggles have shown up, Brent, so he's not going to go the game without them.
There they are. He just forgot to put them on when he came out to start the half.
As physical as it is sometimes, he may have lost it in a scramble underneath the boards.
Indeed, there he goes. Kareem, so the goggles are tucked back in place, and the Western Conference All-Stars are ready to roll again. It's 82-66. 9:38 to go in the third in the NBA All-Star game. 8-2 spurt right now by the East. Pistol Pete Maravich has made 5 in a row, 82-66. And the West down on the attack. Thompson takes Durbin and rotates over to the weak side. Kareem. Turnaround on Lanier. Taken down by Elvin Hayes. They can run to 10-2. Here's Maravich. On at the Doctor. On the turnover. It'll be the West right back. Thompson trying to find Dave Hyde was fouled as he came inside.
George Gervin is home, but he may get sit on that bench there for a while. That's 3 straight fouls on him. They have really taken advantage of defensively right there. Thompson just blows by him. He almost gets a 3-point play. He's on the line.
So David Thompson in his 4th pro season, 3rd in the NBA, and he has been a member of the Western Conference All-Stars in each of those 3 years. Starter, as a matter of fact, each time out. 83-66 now. West in command. Maravich with a run of 5 straight. Cross-court wanted back to the Doctor. Doctor goes down. He was struck in the back. Loose ball foul. He's all right.
Loose ball foul by number 30, George McGinnis.
They were successful on that play a little earlier, and you'll see it coming up. Julius Erving is going behind a double pick. Maravich throws the ball high, but he gets fouled from behind.
Maravich, 5 of 6 as he comes up with a miss, and Irving's got it back for the East. Free ball tap by Lanier. On the fly. Thompson to West Ball's 4-on-1. Back now to Marcus Johnson.
This is where the West has been so effective. They had a 4-on-1 break that time. And if you give up that many cheap baskets, you're going to be in trouble.
So, the one thing that the West has done, and the East is trying to do that now, is just put more balls in the air. You got a chance if you put it up. You got no chance if you're kicking it around in the stand, letting the chicken play with it.
Chicken will turn it into a football like he did a few minutes ago. And here's Marcus Johnson of the Milwaukee Bucks. .85 for the Western Conference. Maravich, Durbin, Hayes, Lanier, and Irving on the floor for Dick Motta in the East. Pistol wanted to pass, and Lanier ran down the loose ball. Rob Lanier did not expect to be driving baseline in that sequence. He made the most of it. Johnson regains. Batted away from Kareem and out of bounds. Western Conference controls. Bannock, Evans, Madden, the 3 officials.
The East has just done a better job so far playing defense. They've made the West put the ball up more from the outside, limiting their chances to get those cheap, easy breaks.
4-on-1 at the other end, and the field goal layup is missed. Long pass to West Ball. Oh, he is outstanding with either hand. I think he goes to that offhand better than anybody in the NBA.
He and Bobby Jones are probably the 2 best in close with either hand.
There's Kareem dueling Lanier. Gervin, high arch. Yanked down McGinnis. West Ball. Bounce to the corner. McGinnis on the assault, gives it up. Marcus Johnson. Pretty play that night. It's like they've worked it together. 89-68. McGinnis now with 4 steals, and Hayes is pounded away for 11 rebounds in this game. Irving against Marcus Johnson. Got it over to Elvin. Run down by McGinnis on the fly. Here comes the West. He went to the offhand. 2 Eastern Conference players go tied up. Hayes gets the ball, and McGinnis comes right down on it. And it's going to be a turnover.
Oh, you see McGinnis right there. He came on the plate, got the ball. There's 2 Eastern players right there with the ball. They call Elvin Hayes and Pete Maravich for walking. And George McGinnis did a little dive on top to make sure.
That was a free shot. Moses Malone. Kareem looking for a teammate rather than the shot. And finally gets to Marcus. David Thompson goes in there with the Giants, and with that great leaping ability, finds daylight above them. The Doctor on the dribble. Bobby Dandridge. Hayes was hacked by McGinnis, coming inside the lane that time on his drive. So we'll have a timeout right now. The foul going against George McGinnis. We've got 6 minutes and 37 seconds to go. Third period, NBA All-Star game, Pontiac, Michigan. It's 91-68, the West in command. My former partner, Phyllis George, is here with her husband-to-be, John Y. Brown, the owner of the Boston Celtics. They've announced their engagement. Congratulations to both of them. They are to be married in March in New York City. Elvin Hayes, turnaround hitter. Irving and Thompson, 17 points each. Westfall, 15 points and 5 assists. Our individual leaders so far in this All-Star game.
John Havlicek, what if you're the East of the coach there? What do you tell these guys? How do they get back in the basketball game?
Well, one of the things they have to do is try and get low for some good percentage shots. They've been in a situation where they forced a lot of shots, trying to make the spectacular play.
What about that defense?
The defense is definitely something they have to improve on.
Walter Davis has checked in. On the turnover, Hayes with control. Irving batted it free. And it's the doctor. And the doctor is trying hard to yank his conference back into it. With the field goal.
Again, they've gone with another tall lineup. They've got Irving and Gervin back in the backcourt. Dandridge and Malone and Elvin Hayes up front. If they can get an opportunity to run, they have an excellent chance of getting back in the game. 5:40 left.
And the doctor just kind of dropped the hand momentarily, and Paul went to the shot.
Paul's played so much horse, he has all kinds of shots out here.
Hayes at familiar spot. Moses Malone of Houston fouled as he came back up with the shot. And Dennis Johnson checking back into the game.
Number 33.
Are you talking about familiar spots? Moses Malone down in deep. He's the best offensive rebounder in the league, possibly in the history of the NBA. He gets in deep. He's got to be boxed that time. No box. He's on the free throw line. As we look at Paul Westphal trying to get comfortable, as he's had a tremendous game so far.
Steve, you pointed out his tremendous offensive rebounding. Moses has led the NBA in each of the last 2 years in that category. Set a league record with 437 a couple of years ago.
He has 352 right now, 30-some games left.
Again, it slides face on. Also going with the shot going up. Rudy Tomjanovich. If you're wondering about the face mask and the injury that Rudy suffered last year, it is not a direct result of it. That nose was broken again this year when hit accidentally. But it is such a pleasure to see this man back in basketball. He, of course, missed almost all of last season after an unfortunate incident in Los Angeles. And the Houston Rockets are playing well. Our old buddy Rick Barry now on that team. I'll tell you, it's kind of strange. Not only to not see John Havlicek out there, not to see Rick Barry, no one from the Celtics, the Knicks, or the Warriors. That's the first time in history that those three teams haven't been represented in an All-Star game. So, somewhat of a changing of the guard in the NBA. Here's Bobby Dandridge. He's been on 4 of these teams now. Washington, he puts one up. He came open in the middle. Nice play. Elvin Hayes now playing with those 5 personals, and that's why Dick Motta wanted to give him a break. Davis gave it off, and it was McGinnis.
Real good play by Roller Davis that time. Going to the hoop, found out he was picked up by 2 men, hit the open man for the stuff.
96 points up there by the Western Conference already. Away from Rudy, runs it down.
Control is very important in this game, and the East has been out of control.
Rudy Tomjanovich.
Range, they need more plays like that.
Well, Rudy T, the former Wolverine, grew up 20 miles from here. Put it in. And the big man, necked off by Moses. Here's Julius. Irving spins free, and it's Dandridge again. And David Thompson on the foul.
If they play more defense like that, they're going to come up with a lot more steals and be able to get to a situation where they can close the lead. Here we have Julius. It's a 4-on-1. Going to the hoop. Didn't get the lay-in. On the line for 2 shots. That they're going to come up with a lot more steals and be able to get to a situation where they can close the lead. Here we have Julius. It's a 4-on-1. Going to the hoop. Didn't get the lay-in. On the line for 2 shots.
Campy Russell returns to
Campy Russell returns, and Durbin leaves. Campy, of course, from the Cleveland Cavaliers, possesses as fine a fadeaway jump shot as you ever want to see, like Rudy T.
All the East wants to do is get within 10 at the top of the 4th period. They got a shot at this basketball game. They're 16 down now, 4 minutes left. Dandridge, they need all of his.
It's 81. So whittling away here in the 3rd period. And Steve, you pointed out, I think the key element strategically, they went to the big guards.
They've gone in with the big guys. They've got Russell now playing guard. They're a little bit out of position, and the West could take advantage of them because they run their set pattern so well.
Guinness, and Green didn't expect it, but now he's got it. Boy, he thought it was hot potato. Did you see?
It's a good thing he had those goggles on.
Rudy T is off with the rebound. Now here's the doctor who has taken charge of this Eastern Conference team. Tomjanovich blows in the hook shot. So it's 96-84, and the Eastern Conference has come to life. Maurice Lucas will check back in for Lenny Wilkins. David Thompson and the East falling back there on defense trying to stop the penetration. Thompson with 4 seconds goes off. Good rebound by Dandridge. Lead now to the doctor. Here's the doctor. They are right there. 96-86, and there's the 10 points Steve Jones was telling you about. 2:59 to go in the 3rd. McInnes is open back to 12. Sloppy on defense. Didn't seal up the middle. Dick Motta now will bring him over. Big smile on Bernie Bickerstaff's face over there. Those 2 guys who head up the Washington Bullets are happy that they finally made a game of it here in Pontiac, Michigan.
The East is coming back, and this is Dick Motta, the head coach, down by 12.
We've been here. We got them right where we want them. We just need a point a minute. We're way ahead of schedule. We'll get a good shot each time down the court. We a little, and if they'll just listen to me. Yeah.
Just listen to the world champion coach.
No, if they just listen, they don't make enough money. They got to listen to me a little more.
All right, back to live action. Thank you.
Indeed. All right, here's Dandridge now, giving it up to Irving. Motta's East is at 55% in the 3rd. They are now 12 of 22. And Julius comes up to the free throw line. You know, one thing we've got to get hung on is to find one athlete in this All-Star game who will say, "Hi, Dad." I mean, it is running so much in favor of mothers on behalf. Why is it about athletes it's always "Hi, Mom," Steve?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if we had a lot more women involved, they would say, "Hi, Dad." Maybe it's just they like to go to the other gender. We see Julius Irving, game high score, 22 points. He's picked a lot of them up playing at that guard position. He may have for a new slot at Philadelphia.
I also think he's brought some leadership to the floor here in this period.
He definitely has. He has that quality, and I'm sure that the other players look up to him, and he's playing as hard now as he's ever played because this is his type of game.
Maurice Lucas. Backed off by Malone. It's 98-88, and the East ends up back now to within 8. Tomjanovich has hit 2 quick ones during the comeback. Pretty shot. Nicely timed by Rudy T. Now it's Walter Davis of Phoenix, and we've got ourselves one brewing here in Pontiac.
Momentum and defense is key for the East. They have gotten down and deep and made the West take tougher shots.
They leave Lucas alone. They gave him that shot. And Maurice drives. Now, the East can make it 6. Here's Bobby D to the glass. Irving with 5 field goals and 2 free throws this quarter. And 23-point total is the hot hand overall in this game. 139. Dennis Johnson to Artis Gilmore of Chicago. Walter Davis. 100-92. And Motta is in the game. He's yelling at Bannon.
You can always,
it's the first time I've seen an NBA All-Star coach up yelling at a referee in years.
You can always get in the game when you get close to him. We didn't see him in the first half.
I wonder if he brought the fat lady with him.
That's his third penalty situation.
Mata's going to his favorite player, the only one he can look right in the eyes. Here comes Calvin.
Dr. J on the line, 3, make 2.
The East at this point doesn't have a true guard in the game. They're going to get Calvin in here for a little speed. They've been breaking well. Maybe he can help in that department.
One thing for sure, Julius Erving has been able to use his mobility out in front, get to the hoop, get to the free throw line. They're giving David Thompson a race. He is playing real hard, done a lot of jumping, a lot of running early. He may be a little tired. Erving is beginning to take advantage of his size.
Okay, Steve, on the floor right now for Mata. Of course, Irving's at the free throw line. We've got Moses Malone and Rudy Tomjanovich. And we've got Bobby Dandridge out there. And we also have Campy Russell. Now for the West, we've got Walter Davis. We've got Dennis Johnson, Maurice Lucas, Artis Gilmore, and Otis Birdsong.
Well, John noticed that they took a lot of the showmen out of the basketball game, and that's why the East have gotten back in it.
Anytime you get back to the basics, you're a lot better off.
Why not? It's a working man's town, and Mata went to the guys who prefer the lunch pails to the Rolls Royces. Lucas is left alone that time. You could leave him alone outside, but never there. Here's Dandridge. Julius Erving, who has struck his comeback. Here's Rudy T. It's 102-96. We're inside of a minute, third period.
Well, you can make a strong case for Julius Erving. He's bringing him right back for that MVP. He's doing it all and got the people very excited.
Every time the East gets a rebound, Julius is calling for it. He wants it.
As the ball went into Artis Gilmore, there was a foul underneath. And I believe the doctor, yes, he is. He's over on the bench taking a rest right now. Well, he deserves it as he sparked the comeback. I really felt that time that Moses Malone may have gambled too much, jumping far out, leaving Gilmore open. So someone had to jump in, and they fouled Artis. And here's the leader of the Chicago Bulls, the man who's carried that team this year. That is for sure. In this period, that run of 4 by Rudy T. The doctor had 14 points, and Bobby Dandridge has added 6 for the East.
It's amazing that Artis Gilmore has never missed a basketball game in the college or pro career.
Isn't that unbelievable, John? All right, here's Otis Birdsong of Kansas City to the middle. Bad pass. Way in front of Maurice Lucas. Now, 16 seconds, third period. It's 104-96. East now can bring it on up for the last shot. Campy Russell. Get in front of him. Catch him in front of you. Put some pressure on.
Artis Gilmore on that last shot probably shouldn't have attempted to block it because I don't think it would have gone in anyhow.
Lucas floats it up. And the end of the third period, one in which the Eastern Conference decided to come back and give us a basketball game. 12 minutes to go. 104-98 from the West. And the East trailing by 6 at 59%, outscoring the West 40-24 in the third period. Here's Campy Russell trying to make it a 4-point game. Can't. Loose ball. Dandridge will give the East a second chance. Campy Russell off again. Out by Lucas now to Dennis Johnson. Gives it to Walter Davis flying down the wing. Davis goes back to DJ. Sealed up by Russell, and here's Gilmore. Comes inside Otis Birdsong, and there was a foul.
23. A good off-the-ball cut that time by Birdsong going to the hoop. Artis Gilmore with his head up was able to pick him up. Potential 2-point play here.
They have run their set stuff much better. That's where they have their success. I'm certain that Lenny Wilkins during that timeout told them, fellas, if we don't have a good opportunity, let's set up and exploit them defensively.
Steve, earlier the commissioner mentioned that the league is going to expand into 2 cities, and the 2 leading towns at this point are Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Dallas. Now others where there's interest are Miami, Toronto, and Pittsburgh, and also being considered St. Louis and Cincinnati. So within a couple of years, we will have at least 2 more teams in the NBA. Perfect. Goes to Russell. Campy coming inside of Dennis Johnson. Moses Malone with the tap in. 5-point lead by the West. Maurice Lucas directing traffic. The East has gone to that sagging man-to-man defense. Back down by Malone, and Birdsong's got it on the turnover. Costly turnover. 7-point West lead.
That time Moses brought the ball down a little low, and those little people will always be snapping at it if you don't keep it up above your head.
Little guys will always get in the way, and Birdsong did an excellent thing by not trying to challenge Malone. After he got the ball, put it back up. You'll see Murphy right here getting Birdsong, trying to take the charge right there. Murphy goes there. Malone comes down, and again, Bob Lanier comes in. You got a little bit more offensive mobility in the ball game than Bob Lanier.
And here is Lanier with Gilmore on him and Rudy Tomjanovich. And his run is over. Dandridge goes back to Bob Lanier, who wants to put it up. Blocked away by Dennis Johnson at 6'4", got a hand on it. Lucas to Davis. Lucas battling under the glass, stayed with it. Watch this block shot underneath. Watch the position.
He told Big Bob,
time.
don't come in here with that cheap stuff. He don't blame me cheap. He took it right away from him.
Dennis Johnson leads the guards among block shots in the league. He can really get up. Last year in one game, I believe he blocked 7 shots.
Rudy T. He's gone cold, missing his last 2. And Lucas has gone to work underneath the glass. Here's Davis. Can't leave him alone on that wing. That is a fine spot, and Dick Motta thinks the same thing. He wants to huddle over there with the Eastern Conference Stars, and I would think he's going to have to get Julius Irving back into this game because it was Irving who led the comeback of the Eastern Conference in the third period. The West now has gone back ahead by 11, and we'll be right back. All right, we've got 9 minutes and 51 seconds to go.
Well, you predicted it. Irving's back in the basketball game. John Havlicek, he's in there with George Gervin. What do you think?
Well, they have a lot of offensive power, and Julius has been the person that got them back in the third quarter, and I'm sure he's got his rest now, and it's showtime.
So it's the Doctor and George in the backcourt now for the East. And Irving will take Dennis Johnson underneath, and Maurice Lucas battles him, and Irving pops out, and he's tied up. He has to give it up. Now they go to the right. It's Dandridge. The battle underneath, not there this time for the Eastern Conference. And finally, it's the big man out of Portland, Lucas, with control. Now here's DJ from Seattle Supersonics, the best record in the Western Conference. After going to the championship last year, losing in a 7-game battle against Washington, and then losing their center, Marvin Webster, and Gilmore and Lanier go crashing to the floor, and Lanier cannot believe the call going against him.
Well, they say it's no contact, and Lanier and Lucas are all hot right up there. But you'll see down in deep trying to pull stop. They try to get that ball inside, and they just pull each other down. You see, again, right there, bumping, hooking each other. They both got each other there. Gilmore said, well, if I'm going to go, I'm not going to go by myself.
I vote for Lanier's side. All right, here's Gilmore. Gives it up to Otis. Otis on double team. Gilmore rolls against Lanier, but can't get to the glass. Dennis Johnson. Off Maurice Lucas, he regains his control, goes to the glass, and drives back in. Loose ball foul as he came up over the top after the missed shot.
Bob Lanier getting a little upset there. He didn't like that call. He didn't like being pulled down to the floor, and that time he was in the thick of the action.
Now he goes down on offense. And here's Larry Keenan. And Lanier thought it was for him as you watch the replay of that. Keenan. Boy, Gervin was pushed completely out of the way that time. I think it's gotten a lot more furious underneath the basket than we're accustomed to.
Well, it's money time right now, and the East is really trying to get back into that time. Julius Irving wanting that ball to get beat Gervin's back down. We got 31,000 people that are watching this game today.
Well, a short change to 7:45. 31-7:45 is Sigma. Seattle puts it up to the West, the largest crowd to see an NBA All-Star game on hand. And they've seen a dandy one since the third period when the East went to work. Gervin. Larry Keenan rebounds. Turn around. And he was fouled. Maurice Lucas came back outside with him. So too did Jack Sigmund. The foul goes to Lucas.
Foul on number 20, Maurice Lucas. That's his fourth.
Well, you see, the East is just trying to put more balls in the air, trying to put more offensive firepower in there. You see, he went up with his shot, got grabbed, he's on the line. They're down by 13, 8 minutes left. A lot of time for them to get back in the basketball game.
You saw how ferocious it was in that sequence with Artis Gilmore and Lanier locking elbows underneath. Keenan missing a free throw, and when you're behind like this, you can't afford to miss now with 8 minutes to go.
They bring some beef in here, John Havlicek. Alvin Hayes comes back in the basketball game. Look for him to be on those boards and right in the thick of the action.
Well, if they can stay on the boards and keep them from getting more than one shot at the other end, they'll get back into it. One of the things that the East has to do, though, they have Julius Erving playing the offensive end from a guard position. He can't crash the board every time because they'll get a break on it.
Sigma. 2 in a row for Big Jack, who has won 5 games, more than any single player this year. Winning basket in the last 2 minutes for the Sonics. Keenan gives it up, run down by Lanier. And there's a short touch for Don Lanier as he moves to the hole. 12-point difference on the floor for the Western Conference. Dennis Johnson, Artis Gilmore, Otis Birdsong, Maurice Lucas, and Jack Sigma. Turn it over on the steal by Lanier. East comes out, and here's the doctor in the middle.
That's a tremendous finger roll right there, right over the top of a lot of people to get them back within 10. Irving again being instrumental, getting down and deep, posting up, and giving the ball to the open man.
The West had led by 22. Birdsong. And the East can make it 8 again. Irving waiting on the wing. Every time he touches it, the crowd is ready for something to happen. They had it that time, and the ball just wouldn't go down. Dennis Johnson and Lucas. Lucas feeds it back to PJ. The Pacific Northwest hooks up that time and works a pretty play. Irvin's man goes down. He came in, and Sigma was there, and he fouled him. So George Gervin, who grew up in this area,
That's his first.
college in Eastern Michigan. We're going to have a timeout. No, we're not. Hold on. We're going to come to the free throw line. Irving had to go over to talk them out of it. Now they're going to break up. Now we're going to have the timeout.
An interesting thing, we got the substitution, Gilmore, who has been wearing them down, and now they bring the finesse man in, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're going to go with some offensive keys to the basketball game to try and maintain that lead.
Lenny Wilkins, the head coach of the West, they're up by 12, but things are starting to get tight, Lenny.
Well, the East is making a run at us, Rod, and we just got to control the boards and get that ball out.
I know you're playing for keeps. You're down with those X's and O's. You're giving them plays, and everybody seems to be involved in this game.
Well, you know, I think everyone should be involved. It's an all-star game, and if you give guys just a few things, they can do it.
Okay, Lenny, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Back to Brent.
Thank you, Rod. And of course, back in 1971, Lenny Wilkins was the MVP in this game. The West won that one 108-107 in San Diego. Lenny was in playing with the Supersonics, and he led a late 14-1 West surge in that game. So he knows what it is to come from behind in an all-star game. And a man who was showing a little fire, John Havlicek, Bob Lanier.
Bob Lanier has really got involved in this game. He's steaming under there a couple of times. He was locked up with Artis Gilmore. Now Gilmore's out of the game. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in there. Let's see if he maintains that intensity.
And of course, we'll have that coverage of Daytona after the game in the Bing Crosby Pro-Am tournament. So automobile racing and golf still coming up today on CBS. George Gervin trying to add still another scoring title to the one he won last year. 10-point game with 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go. David Thompson with the Sigma and Maurice Lucas. Dennis Johnson and Abdul-Jabbar out there for the West. Kareem will work against Lanier. Turnaround as Bob thought he was going to go to the Skyhook.
Well, there's not much you can do when he can get to that baseline side and you can't give help. He's another player that's unstoppable. They've got to give him help if they're going to really creep within this game here.
Kareem got a hand on it too defensively that time, and Julius saves it. And here's Gervin, and again Kareem knocks it away, and the whistle was sounded.
32. We have Kareem on the right side of the floor.
Foul on number 32.
You have a feed in, and now Bob Lanier thinks he's going to go to the sky hook. Does a reverse pivot here, shoots it off the glass. Nice move.
George Gervin at the line.
George Gervin will shoot one free throw. David Thompson fouled him his third. Abdul-Jabbar with 11 points. George Gervin with 18 points.
George Gervin may have told Julius Irving to come on out here and learn how to play guard. You may need it later on. It saves a lot of wear and tear on your body.
It's a lot easier when you run from the top of the key to the other top of the key rather than from baseline to baseline.
Speaking from experience, here is Jack Sikma. Left alone as the gamble failed. The East, of course, cannot trade baskets. They still must get a run. And Maurice Lucas reaching in on Elvin Hayes. No basket.
Foul on number 20, Maurice Lucas. That's his fifth.
I wouldn't be surprised, Brent, if Dick Motta may put Moses Malone in there and really give him a big front line.
Returns to the East lineup.
Well, when they had Malone in that lineup, they had an excellent rebounding lineup. He got a few offensive rebounds along with Irvin and Gervin and Rudy Tomjanovich. Again, they've taken the spectacular players out, the showmen, and they've gotten themselves back in this basketball game. 5:45 left, plenty of time.
Elvin Hayes missing. And here comes DJ. 121 to 110. Green being tied up by Lanier. Well, they're really dueling away inside as David Thompson throws them behind. Irving back to the attack for the East. Now it's Kareem's turn on defense against Lanier. Lucas off to DJ. Thompson from the corner. High rebound, Hayes. And the chicken loved that one.
The chicken loved it. Julius Irving's the guy that really made it popular. He got out and hustled on the wing. Gervin took a look and slowed it up that slingshot. He got the big grand slam.
So 21 now for the Iceman. Dennis Johnson stepped out of bounds as he drove baseline. They have turned it over to the East. Rudy T gives it back to the doctor. Lanier comes outside. Now Rudy T on the right is open. And if he jump as he did in the third period, they can jump back quickly.
9 away, John Havlicek. What do you tell this team on the East?
Well, they have to keep playing the way they did in the third quarter and do a little more of it. Right there you see Julius on the little gamble. Almost got away with it, but not quite.
Well, Irving really wants this basketball game. He's done everything that he could possibly do. Play the defense out in front, handle the ball, just done everything. You'll see right here, he's moving. David Thompson, a little bit more familiar at that guard spot, and Irving reaches, looks like he got the ball clean.
Thompson comes clean to the basket. Four fouls against Irving. Here's Hayes.
Elvin Hayes.
3 minutes and 47 seconds. Here's Kareem. Double teamed and foul. And Rudy T to the personal, his second. He was moving over to help Lanier. So it's DJ and Thompson. George McGinnis now is back. David Thompson up with a shot and a miss. And Kareem is there as Julius tried to dribble out. Thompson.
Well, when they get them to miss, they can't seem to handle the ball. They get the break at the other end, and the time is pulling away from them. They still have a shot, 3 minutes left, but they've got to play good defense and take advantage of the turnover.
They need a run right now. Here's Elvin. And the doctor. And they've gone over the doctor's got it back.
Here we have a shot taken by Julius Erving. He gets inside on the rebound for a good, easy layup. He didn't quit on that play.
So the East readies now for that last run at 2:45. West brings the shot clock down to 5. Inside of 5. Abdul-Jabbar, 2 seconds traveled. Looking for someone to give the hot potato to. And we're going to have a timeout here at Silverdome. 127 to 118. The West leading. Last year in Atlanta, the East beat the West 133 to 125. As you see our overhead view here at the Silverdome. Lenny Wilkins talking to the West. It's hard to figure out exactly what he might be diagramming right now. Sure. The ball back. That's the guess. Go first. Now, you probably have a drive off of, if you don't have Elvin down low for the turnaround, then use Lanier's drive. Make sure you get a good. Bob, you're in a high screen. Here's Julius coming over. You're going to give it back to him. Okay, you come hard as you can. What do you hear? And E is going to come to here, and then you go out and set the screen for Julius. Set a nice screen for him, and you got the give and go on that. We need a basket now. 3-point play would be beautiful. Okay. All right, go, man. At some point, all coaches get greedy. Not satisfied with just the field goal, Coach Motto wants the whole loaf. It's 127 to 118.
That's a pretty good job of begging over there by him. Fellas, please give me something. We got a shot.
I'm sure that Lenny Wilkins has told the West squad, let's use up some of that clock, too.
Sigma pops out, and the doctor has to throw it, and Gervin's there. Gervin comes in. Tough defense by the West, a little bit too aggressive that time, and Abdul-Jabbar has assessed the personal. Kareem not agreeing with the call, back off the baseline. Popped out of the double team.
They gave him that look. Got to be crazy, not me. I didn't foul.
George Gervin at the line, 1 plus the penalty.
So Gervin tried to become the first guard in NBA history to win the scoring title twice, and of course he could do it in back-to-back seasons. This man has shot 54% from the field. That's better than even Oscar Robertson or Jerry West did during their great careers as guards. Now it's 127, 119 at 2:10. Jack Sigma. Guarded by Tom Janovich. He turns around on him. Off with the miss, but the East loose ball. Sigma goes to the floor, and we've got 2 players tied up down there.
John, who says they don't want it? The East diving on the floor for the basketball right here. Tom Janovich doing an excellent job of making Sigma put that ball up from the outside. Again, they can't handle that rebound, but you'll see some hustle by Sigma and Gervin.
West controls at the 2-minute warning. Taking their time. East trying to force some missed shots. They'll gamble on defense. They'll go to the double team now and pop out. Kareem. Double team by Rudy. And on the turnover, the East gets the break they're looking for. Here's Elvin Hayes. To the slam dunk. So Elvin goes to the whip. He forced the turnover and brought it in. Now it's a 6-point game at 127, 121, and 137. And the East again will try to pressure with defense. They trap the ball out there. Dennis Johnson comes free to McGinnis. Open man is Kareem. Puts it to the floor right now. Shot clock inside 10. Thompson's alone. Big basket. And Mata's going to use a timeout. That is a big score by David T. right there. Making it 8 again at 124. So we have come down to the last run here. The high scores so far, Julius Erving with 27 and Thompson with 25. They are saying, Steve Jones, don't worry. The men on the floor are going to carry us home now in the Eastern Conference. Here is George Gervin. The last run time, Gervin threw one up, but there was a foul as he did. It's against Thompson. That's his 4th.
Foul on number 32,
And, you know,
David Thompson.
members of the
That's
Detroit
his
Pistons
penalty
Class A
situation.
chassis are now collecting the most valuable player ballots from the 300 sports writers at today's game here in Pontiac. The votes are going to be entered into the Honeywell mini computer installed here at the Silver Dome. Now, a few seconds after those ballots are fed to the system's card reader, the MVP winner's name will automatically appear on a video screen. We will be showing you that and announcing who the MVP is, and we've had a substitution, Steve.
Yeah, Calvin Murphy's come in. I thought he had a shot at that MVP, but he didn't get too much playing time today. They went to the big boys, and little guy had to take a rest.
6-point West lead at 112. Taking their time, Durbin comes out and DJ picked him up, and Thompson again's left alone, and now he goes to McGinnis. Back deeply to DJ. Sickman's over there. West moves it. Shot clock goes down inside of 5. Precious time. Rolls the hook up. Irving battling for the rebound against McGinnis. Out of bounds, and they go to the east with 53 seconds. An important trip right here.
John Havlicek, what's the play you would call to get the Easter basket?
I'd probably get it to Julius Irving because he has a pretty good hot hand now. I didn't do it that time, but you try and get it to a guy who has a potential three-point play, which Dick Motta was hoping for on the previous trip down the floor.
Calvin Murphy thought he was bowling for dollar somewhere. He rolled that ball into Julius Irving. You can't do much with it when it's down on the floor like that. The big guys have to go down, come back up. Irving really never got the handle on the ball. George McGinnis is on the line as a result of it. 47 seconds left, 6 points away.
And 2 big misses as far as the East is concerned. But it hits the penalty. 7-point difference and not much time. The East must hurry. Blocked away. Dennis Johnson, and goaltending is called, giving you examples of just how high that man, number 24, can scout.
They've got to have a good defensive series here in order to get a turnover and get a chance to score again quickly.
Double teaming the ball, leaving the open man, and the 2 guards play with it. Inside of 30 seconds, Murphy comes out on Dennis Johnson and had to foul him in that situation.
Well, they have nothing to do but foul. They got to stop that clock. The West is going to hold the basketball. They've got the lead. Everything going for them. 24 seconds is all they have to use up. There's 28 seconds left in the basketball game.
.132 to 125. And that big early lead may have just been too much for the East. Irving on the turnaround.
After J.
132 to 127. It's 20 seconds and 5 points. Across the line, McGinnis drives on Lanier, and he was blocked.
Well, John, you got that much time left. You think McGinnis took a good effort that time. They could have just run the clock out, not even a chance.
Well, and he also risked the chance of hurting himself going in there like that. And in a situation like this, when you're that far ahead, just ball movement is going to keep it away from the defense, allows you to win the game. George took a chance that time.
And so the Western Conference All-Stars are going to win this game here in Pontiac. A little bit of frosting there. Big McGinnis, the man who played brilliantly in defeat. Julius Irving to George Gervin.
The Iceman.
The shooting range.
Dr. J.
The Iceman with 26 points. And it is over. 134 to 129 is the final score. And of course, right now they are tabulating those ballots for the most valuable player in this game. And there you see the Honeywell computer being tabulated. David Thompson has drawn a lot of backing. And David Thompson is the winner of the most valuable player.
The 1979 NBA All-Star Game, held on February 4th at the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan, was more than just another showcase of the league's top basketball players. It marked a turning point in NBA history, not necessarily because of the gameplay or specific highlights, but because it symbolized the end of one era and the beginning of another that was just around the corner. But before its historical significance can be fully appreciated, it's worth taking a closer look at the game itself, its key players, and the social context surrounding it. Hosting the event at the Pontiac Silverdome was remarkable in itself. It was the first time an NBA All-Star game was played in a football stadium. Over 31,000 fans attended, setting a new record for All-Star game attendance at the time. This alone showed how much interest basketball was generating, even outside of regular season games. The league was on the verge of a major transformation, and this game gave a small glimpse of what was to come. The Eastern Conference featured stars like Elvin Hayes, George Gervin, Bob McAdoo, Dave Cowens, and the veteran John Havlicek, who played in his final All-Star game. The Western Conference was led by names such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Paul Westphal, Gus Williams, and Marques Johnson. Julius Erving also made his NBA All-Star debut for the East after having built his career in the ABA. For the first time, stars from both formerly competing leagues came together on the NBA's biggest midseason stage. The game itself was intense, entertaining, and full of offensive flair. The West emerged victorious with a 134-129 win, an outcome that already reflected the emphasis on offense and showmanship. One of the most exciting players on the court was David Thompson from the Seattle Supersonics, whose athleticism thrilled the crowd time and again. But he wasn't just exciting, he was also the night's MVP, earning the honor with 25 points and a commanding presence throughout the game. Even though the matchup was competitive, it became increasingly clear that the NBA was in a transitional phase. Many of the players who had defined the league for over a decade were nearing the end of their careers. Others, like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, were just about to step into the spotlight. Although those two legends would not be drafted until later that year, the 1979 All-Star Game could be seen as the final gathering of the old guard. The 1980s would soon usher in not only a new style of play, but also a commercial and cultural explosion for the NBA. Fan engagement also signaled what was coming. With increasing television exposure, the growing influence of African-American athletes in mainstream sports, and the merging of pop culture with basketball, the NBA All-Star Game evolved from a mere sporting event into a spectacle. The 1979 edition was probably the last time the game was primarily focused on basketball itself, before it turned into a full-blown entertainment show. The significance of this game lies less in its score or specific plays, and more in its historical context. It symbolized the end of an era that had stabilized and professionalized the NBA, and paved the way for a new generation of stars. The players on the court likely didn't realize they were passing the torch to those who would revolutionize and globalize the league. Today, the 1979 All-Star Game is rarely described as legendary, but that's a mistake. Even though it didn't feature iconic dunks or last-second buzzer beaters, it was a quiet milestone in the evolution of a league that was about to take its biggest leap forward.
Hey guys, in case you have missed all the great tapes from back in the days, check these out. All will be on our channel.
Now, For the first time ever, you can get airtime and come fly with me together for only $29.98, showing you a side of Michael that you've never seen before. Capture his amazing plays forever. Act now, and you'll also receive this exclusive limited edition career retrospective, highlighting Michael's spectacular achievements. Take it home for yourself, or buy it as a gift for your favorite Michael Jordan fan. Michael Jordan gift pack is available for only $29.98 wherever NBA videos are sold, or call 1-800-NBA-DUNK.
After enjoying all the spectacular action of the NBA Finals, you'll know who reigns as NBA champs. Now go behind the scenes to find out where, when, and how they did it.
Call a 10 defense.
All this with the official 1996 NBA Finals video. Nothing gets you closer to the NBA Finals. Order yours now. Call toll-free 1-888-8-GET-NBA.
Jim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond team up to host NBA Grooves.
What kind of music you like? Man, I like all type of music.
It's a music video tour of the NBA.
You are in the groove, baby!
With lots of NBA action, mixed up with hot music from Blackstreet, Republica, Shaq, Yvette Michelle, and more. NBA Grooves. In stores now through NBA.com or by calling 1-800-NBA-HOOPS. From NBA Video.
There is a magic within them, a legendary quality. They are men of miracles. Fly with them in this extraordinary new video, NBA Legacy, Living Legends to Rising Stars. You also get the officially licensed NBA team sweatshirt of your choice. Both the authentic sweatshirt and the video are free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. NBA Legacy traces a line of superstars as greatness is passed from one generation to the next. You also get a great-looking heavyweight sweatshirt featuring the colorful logo of your favorite NBA team. No matter which team it is, it's free. When you order 54 issues of SI for only $1.47 an issue, save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now and get NBA Legacy, plus the team sweatshirt of your choice, both free from Sports Illustrated. It's a sports experience like no other. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.